And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Time for question of the week. My wife Angie is here. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angie. Good to have you back here this week. And I know you've missed me. I've been on the road to Kansas City.
Yes.
It's been so lonely for you this week.
It's been a wild week.
It's been a wild week. There's been a lot going on this week. And, of course, we're here for the question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below, and you, too, could be question of the week. Before we get to the question of the week, though, I was traveling to Kansas City this week. So, Angie, so lonely this week without me, I'm sure. Or maybe you celebrated. You and the kids, you got some Chick-fil-A. Oh, you just did all that. Girl time, all kinds of stuff. And then, Angie, unfortunately, I'm going to Wisconsin next week, so I don't know, all alone once again. So you guys will probably go to Raising Cane's this time. Just kind of working the chicken circuit is what they're up to there. But they never go to KFC, my personal favorite. So it's a wild thing there. But this week was a wild week, no doubt. I talked about the travel to KC, and our daughter Elle had her 14th birthday. I can't believe you have a 14-year-old daughter. I just can't believe it. It seems like where you're just getting older, Elle's getting older, and I'm just staying the same age. It's wild. These action figures keep you young. That's what happens, I guess. But quite the party for Elle. Any good memories for you for Elle's birthday? We went to Texas Roadhouse. That's where she wanted to go. She refused to ride the saddle.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Oh, I saw it. I saw the saddle there. When I had to take a call from work at 6 o'clock at night, I was over there by the saddle hanging out, just saying, how Elle needs to ride this thing, but too shy. Too shy for that. But we did see my parents. Of course, shout out to my dad as well. We did the birthday thing. But yeah, 14. So now it's time to get that learner's permit. We got to figure that whole thing out. So scary times for you.
And you.
Not me.
For your car insurance.
But then it was a very bittersweet, of course, end to the birthday. And I'll talk a little bit. Angie, I'll let you explain the horrors you saw, of course, the morning after the birthday party. Take it away.
I don't want to explain.
You don't want to take it away? Am I doing all the talking?
I'm sad.
They're going to say, is Angie here? What's she here for? Is she going to say anything?
One of our rats, Gus, is an escape artist. He always tries to escape. And unfortunately, the morning after Elle's birthday, I found him hanging from the side. He had strangled himself.
Just like this, in rigor mortis, with the top of the cage.
Rigor already.
Had the head through there.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
Just hanging there, a dead rat just flapping.
And of course, he's cold and stiff, so I couldn't get him out. So I'm just...
So Angie grabbed a kitchen knife, and she went to work. It was disgusting. It was blood. She comes up, the rat... No.
I did have to really... crank him out.
Just crazy. It's like 5:30 in the morning. I'm getting ready for work, and I'm leaving. I got meetings and stuff, and and Elle was just disheveled. She couldn't even go to school. She was so brokenhearted about this rat that she couldn't. But the rat, I said, Elle, Angie, Emma, he obviously did not want to live here. He didn't want to be a part of this life. You can't take that burden on yourself. He wanted out of this life. And just earlier that day, the roofing guy was at our house, and we're sitting there at the kitchen table doing all this work, and all of a sudden I hear this screaming, and there's old Gus, and I always mess their names up. Gus just screaming his head off, and once again, he's choking and dying there. So I had to go in there, bend the cage, and pull him out. He had a death wish earlier in the day, and he finally completely said, okay, everybody's asleep. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Now's my time to kill myself. And that's where the rat finally ended it all, and we were done with him. And luckily, saved back from the day from Kraft Foods, when I worked for Kraft Foods, that is, we had these fancy cheeses, fancy Cracker Barrel cheese we got as employees, and it came in a nice like wooden box with a slide cover, basically a rat coffin, and that's what we did. Angie was smart enough to grab that thing, and you know what? We have another one. We have another one. So we're going to put that rat in there. We're going to put him in here, and I wanted to put him down. We have a little stream kind of back behind the acres of land. You put him in the stream, and he just goes down the stream, and you light it on fire, I think, as it goes. But they didn't want to do that. And I said, we got all this field back here. Let's go bury it. And, of course, Angie says, I don't want to do that. Angie wants to go and get him cremated, which is only like $300 to get a rat cremated. It's nothing, no big deal.
It was $80 for the dog.
It was not.
It's probably like
no,
$20.
It's $800, I think, if you do the dog by itself. But if you throw it with a bunch of other animals, they give you ashes of all of them mixed in. You get a cheaper deal. But it's rats at the end of the day. We paid $4 for that rat, or $8 for that. So I don't know, but it's just a rat. So that rat wanted to kill itself so bad. But then what did we do last night?
Got a friend.
We went to the rat store, and then they thought Angie was a snake handler, and I said only at night. She's only handling the snakes at night, but they thought you were a snake handler, didn't they? And you said, no, I'm more of a snake charmer. That's what you told the guy.
For rats, they were not till Friday. Oh, you want a pet rat?
Yeah, they thought you were going to feed it to your snake, and you said my snake doesn't eat rats. That's what you said. But we were in there, and I was like hanging out. There was like this, and you'll see it next week in the fig hunt, I guess. There was a window, and it had the dude in there, and I was kind of transfixed by the dude. And then there was a big thing for like if somebody's having a drug overdose, there was this like machine out there for free. You could give it to him to like come back. I'm like, what neighborhood am I in? And then I looked, you guys were inside the rat store, and that's where I knew I was. I was in a sewer rat store. Mm-hmm. But we got another rat, and we named the rat Stephen Piercy. I thought that was a clever, good name for a rat, so we call him Stephen Piercy, don't we?
You do.
Oh, what did we call him then?
I don't know.
Nobody's even named this rat.
They said, well, he's a senior rat, so we bought
He's 2 years old.
2.
Same age as the other rat.
So, yeah, because rats need friends. They don't like to be alone.
Just like
we
you.
got him a friend. Same age.
And he's black.
And his name was Oscar.
His name was Oscar, and he's truly a grouch so far. He's been a little uneasy.
He doesn't respond to his name, so it doesn't really matter.
No, he's a little uneasy around things, and that's kind of the bad thing getting an adult rat because they haven't been socialized. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way it goes. But we'll get there. We'll see it. But I'm calling him Stephen Piercy. I think it's just obviously fitting for a rat, and real ones understand that. Real ones understand that. But so we got that rat there.
The rat.
The band Rat, lead singer of the band Rat, right there. Yeah. So yeah, Stephen Piercy. Shout out to old Stephen. But we'll see how the rat life lives for us here. So very interesting. And like I was saying that day when he first tried to kill himself that day, his first attempt. I was sitting there with the roofing guy because I am finally getting a new roof on this house and gutters, and they are replacing that tree. You guys remember that tree watch last April, July, whenever that was. We did a video on it. It was wild. It was part of the toy hunt of the week where we heard a huge crack and the big tree in our yard fell over. It was a whole disaster. Well, insurance finally came. The roofing people have come multiple times. They finally agreed, hey, we're replacing your roof and we're going to replace your gutters and we're going to pay you for that tree. So got a nice windfall coming my way. I'm going to take it to the casino and I'm going to see. I'm going to put it all on red or black. What do you think?
I think red.
You think black. I know you.
You bet on black.
You bet on black, that's for sure. So we're going to try to double our money. So that's our plan here later tonight. We're going to get a nice casino buffet and we're going to put all that extra money down on black and see what happens there. We'll take the win, take the loss. You want a pancake?
I've been craving a pancake all week.
Yeah, I'm sure the casino has some of the finest pancakes. I'm sure they do. Maybe IHOP. But, so yeah, got a little money coming our way, and Angie's going to immediately spend it. She's headed to Philadelphia. Anybody want to get extreme with Angie out there? She's going to the ECW Arena, I think is what she has.
I want to talk about money. I've been adding up his 2024 receipts.
Oh, it's a lot of money.
For tax. Woo! Child.
It's a lot. I'm just trying to offset this YouTube channel is all I'm trying to do. And it shows a huge loss every year, and I think they're going to tell me, you can't show losses anymore. You should probably shut this down. It's a loss leader channel. What are you doing? But we'll see. But yeah, new roof coming and all that kind of stuff. So that's good news there. But it's going to suck because I'll probably have a day or two where they're just banging in here. So hopefully I'll be on the road or something like that. So we'll see what happens. But enough jibber jabber, almost 10 minutes. Some people like it, some people don't. That's the way it goes. Angie, time for the question of the week.
Oh, gosh. All right. Michael Britt, 3137. There's always a glare on it. I know you are a huge music fan. Do you have a vinyl collection? And what are your favorite records in your collection?
Oh,
if you do.
Here it goes again. So, like, I am not a vinyl guy. I've never been on the vinyl train. I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, I think it's a whole racket, the music industry. You know, they have vinyls back in the day, then they go to cassette tapes, and to get everybody, oh, you don't want vinyls, you want cassette tapes. And then everybody gets cassette tapes, and they start slowing down and says, oh, we got this thing called the CD. Everybody needs the CD. Then it goes digital. Everybody should get it it in digital. And now everybody should get vinyl. Everybody should get vinyl. Well, here's the secret. Guess what's coming back? CDs. They're on their back end.
No, it's weird. No. It's like this era, they want it all. So Elle wants a vinyl and a CD, and then she has it digital.
It's ridiculous.
If she gets a cassette, if she asks for cassettes, I'm leaving.
It's ridiculous. But CDs are on the upswing after being down forever, so they're back again. And it's all these music companies and record companies trying to convince you that you need these things again, and to speak to that, because vinyl is what it is. I like the idea. I like the representation of vinyl. I like the size of vinyl. Takes up too much room. I prefer CD. I used to be able to take CDs wherever I needed to go in the cars. Now cars, like my company car, doesn't have a CD player anymore. So I'm just not that anymore. And unfortunately, longtime viewers of this channel, one of the first videos I ever did was when I went through my CD collection. Almost 11,000 CDs in that collection. I did cut bait and run. I've told this story before, and you remember this. I said, I don't know what this COVID thing is. People are dying left and right. It is what it is. But if I'm going to die of COVID, you never know. I could have. I didn't even get COVID somehow.
You got those bad lungs, too.
And I got those bad lungs from all those years of chain smoking. I don't recommend it, no. But I said, you know what? I don't have any close friends that know the deep heavy metal that could sell it. And I said, what's going to happen is I'm going to die. Angie's going to pull up to half-price books, and they're going to say, I'll give you 2 cents for each one of these. So I said, you know what?
What's going to happen with all this one day?
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna do a huge giveaway on the channel where somebody can get it. They have to come pick it up. But I wanted to clear those CDs out, so I did my due diligence during COVID. I still had to work, and COVID took 10 years off my life at work. It was one day I'll write a book about that, because I was out there on the front lines, literally answering the calls for bakery calls and all this 24/7. I mean, I went 2 or 3 weeks where I didn't know what day or what time it was. I basically worked around the clock. It was wild time. It was a different time. But
that was one of my first years in groceries. So
there you go. So
crazy.
Wild times. But anyways, I knew I had to sell these CDs, so I did sell them all. I sold them all on eBay and stuff, and I made an absolute fortune. If you guys remember how CDs were at the time, and I snowballed all that money back into my action figure collection is kind of what I pretty much did. But I made a lot of money off those CDs because I had some extremely rare stuff, first pressings. It was a deep collection that nobody else really would understand unless you're really living that life. So I did sell all that. I never got in the vinyl train, never did it. I do have a few vinyls, like Motorhead vinyls. I have all the Night Demon vinyls, just stuff that I like more of collecting. I have autographed vinyls in my office. My favorite vinyl I probably have is actually a bootleg vinyl. It is of the Motorhead cruise that we were on way back once upon a time. So that's a pretty cool memory since I was on the cruise. It's bootleg. That's it. But I'm just not a big vinyl guy, that's for sure. But my favorite vinyl I would own would be that bootleg of Captain Lemmy on the front right there. So that's the answer. And Angie doesn't have any vinyls.
I don't. The girls do.
She streams. She's a streamer. Yep. Not only in the bathroom anymore. Streaming. But the kids, they love their vinyls and stuff. That's for sure. So one more bonus question of the week.
It's tiny.
This is an easy one. This is one for Angie. The surprise question of the week, we're going to call this one here. And I don't know. Good luck pronouncing this name.
Amasokas 5095.
Amasokas.
We want to hear Angie explain firsthand why she wouldn't let you name Emma Evelyn. It's the coolest name ever.
Yeah, so I had the idea, and we came to the agreement if it was boys, I got to name them. If it was girls, Angie got to. And Angie won off both times, but I got to name some dogs. So who won? Who won? But anyways, I really wanted to go because you were dead set on Lynn as the middle name for Emma. You didn't have Emma necessarily, but you knew you wanted Lynn, so you needed something that went with that.
4 letters.
And I immediately went to Evil Lynn because if we had a boy, I wanted to name the kid Evil, like Evil Knievel, of course. I thought that'd be the coolest thing ever. So Evil Knievel Peterson would have been absolutely awesome. Didn't happen. But then I said, wait a minute, we could do Evil Lynn. And then it transformed somehow into Emma Lynn. And she's still Evil Lynn to me. But any thoughts from you on that one?
Well, it's got the evil in it, but that was my hang-up.
That was probably the hang-up. The Lynn part was fine, but it was just like, evil, And would you be better with a boy named Evil or a girl named Evil?
A boy, I guess.
Yeah, I would too. I think that makes more sense. But, man, it was so close, but so far is what that one was. But Evil Lynn would have been pretty cool. But Emma Lynn's all right as well. Yeah.
Evil.
Evil.
It kind of fits her.
She is evil.
A little baddie.
She is. She's trouble. Trouble. Well, that's for sure. But there it is. Quite the wild week. Suicide rats, vinyl collections, Evil Lynn's, new roofs, traveling to KC, traveling to Wisconsin. A lot going on around here.
I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
I feel like
too.
we're always exhausted when we make this
Always
video.
exhausted. Always exhausted. You're more tired. I'm 5 monsters deep today. I'm 5 monsters deep. I'm fine. I'm ready.
I can do one energy drink.
I got about 10 more videos in me tonight. I'm gonna work through the night tonight. I'm gonna edit through the night.
You better feed me first.
I'll feed you later. Don't worry. Don't worry. So there it is. That's the question of the week. If you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below. Angie, say goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.
And now it's time for the weekly purchases.
All right, my wife Angie is here. It's time for question of the week. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Angie's got a lot to answer for in this very video here today. As of course, Angie, I was gone all week in Wisconsin. Beautiful, the land of dairy cows and cheese and blizzard. So that was a fun one for me. So I was in Wisconsin all week, but there was shenanigans going on afoot when I left town. And if you thought last week's weekly purchases was a good one, this one's going to take it to another level because there was a lot of feedback, Angie, on weekly purchases last week. And there was people that said, we need more Angie on the channel. We need more Angie. But we had quite the dilemma last week, and if you missed the question of the week last week, you better check it out. But we did have a rat that decided to commit suicide in our house. Yes, short story, he wanted to hang himself. He got the job done.
You should have given a trigger warning first.
I guess, but he tried to kill himself. How many times did he try to kill himself?
So many.
So many. He just hated this life he lived here. He did not like this house. He wanted to be a sewer rat, I think is what he really wanted to be. He wanted to be free. He had the life of luxury. Lived in like a 3-floor condo.
It is crazy.
He had better food than us, and it always drove me nuts. I said, instead of throwing that food out, you could give it to the rats instead of buying all these rat treats and stuff. Long story short, this rat killed himself. He hung himself, of course. It was Gus, right?
Yes.
Was it Gus? It was Gus the rat that killed himself. Well, then we, of course, knew that we talked, I think, last week that, when rats, they have to have a partner in crime. They need a friend. They don't do well by themselves. So we're like, oh, great. Peanut needs a friend. So what do we do? So I said we could just kill him and just be done with it. And, of course, we talked about possibly getting another rat. And that's exactly what we did is we welcomed one Stephen Piercy to, of course, the family here. So we got Stephen Piercy the rat. I think we talked about that last week, didn't we? So we talked about Stephen Piercy the rat coming in, and unfortunately, Stephen Piercy not as friendly. He's not as friendly as a rat as the other ones.
He's shy. He's
very timid, very shy. Very timid. Not the other ones we had since they were babies, so they were more socialized. Right. So he just likes to hang out and doesn't want to come to his old buddy Kyle or Angie, I guess, all that kind of stuff. But then, of course, a disaster happened, I think, starting Sunday last week.
I can't even remember.
So I left town on like Tuesday or something. But our old friend Peanut took a turn for the worse. And I think you guys know where this is going. Now, Peanut didn't want to kill himself. He loved living here. He just loved it. He thought this was the greatest place to live. But without his brother, what happened? Just like they said, they say it in all the Google stuff. And it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but he slowly took a turn for the worse. And how many days did it take for him to finally meet the old big rat in the sky?
Maybe 5. It was quick.
4 or 5 days, he went there just downhill real quick. And then Stephen Piercy, the new rat, was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know this rat. Now I'm by myself because Peanut's off on the side to die.
Oh, my God.
But Angie, what were you doing to try to keep Peanut alive? Give us the whole rundown of what your plan was.
Keeping him alive? I don't know.
We
gave him antibiotics.
You gave him like Pedialyte. Tell the whole story.
Well, my initial thought was that maybe he got like a respiratory from the other rat because they're really sensitive in their lungs. So we gave him some antibiotic in his water.
Some Pedialyte.
And we just like held it. Man, we separated them.
Just in case.
But
tell about all the love and kisses you gave him, the heated, warm blanket. This is for a rat, mind you. This isn't our dogs who are just lucky to get let back inside after it's snowing.
Stop. Not when they're dying.
But you sat there with a heated blanket, I was told, with him, petting him, talking to him, even giving him some of the patented rat kisses.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad I was
None of it helped.
I'm so glad I was in Wisconsin for all this, that I didn't have to be a part of this. And of course, Emma could care less. She doesn't have a heart. She's got no soul like myself. But Elle was all tears, I'm sure.
Yeah, when the one died, I was like, what an idiot. Why would he kill himself? He had the life.
Yeah, Emma's a realist like myself.
And Elle had to take the day off school.
Elle took a day off school because she was so depressed about it. And thankfully, in a plot twist, Peanut, when he died, we had a blizzard here and school got canceled. So Elle couldn't pull the card of I need to take another day off school. She got one just because of the weather. So, and meanwhile, you guys were all warmed at home, living the life with the dead rat, of course. I was trumping through a blizzard for 4 hours into my car, trying to make towns is what I was trying to do and risking my life. And I did wonder while I was driving down staring at this blizzard, like, who will have the better funeral? Who will be missed more? Peanut and Gus the rats or me? I don't know. It was a wild thought. But so that's the only part of the story. That's the tip of the iceberg of this story here with these rats. So we're down 2 rats. Now
our garage is a pet cemetery.
Yeah, it is. So it's so cold out there. We got them locked away in this. And we should really do a funeral. We should do the funeral and film it for the channel. I'm going to put on the coat and I'm going to say some words. They're not going to be very nice words, but I'm going to say them.
Boxes.
They're stuck in 2 cheese boxes, which is very fitting for rats, I do think. But more on that in a future video, maybe. But that's just the tip of the iceberg here with this rat story. As I'm gone. And Stephen Piercy, poor Stephen Piercy, living alone. He doesn't know where he is in here. And Angie, why don't you take it away what you and the kids did while I was still gone, once again in Wisconsin?
So we went back to the pet store, explained what happened. And then the lady told us that everyone that was in that cage that we had taken Stephen Piercy out of was actually a family. So they had gotten there was like a family that owned all 4 of them, and then they had to turn them back over because they were moving into like an apartment or something.
How does that happen? Like, rats live in a cage. I could see these people giving up a dog or a cat, but like, oh, these rats. And does nobody have a friend?
They already know what I did. They already know.
You can see them. Does nobody have friends that have snakes that you could donate these things to? I don't know. But yeah, we do know what you did, and I couldn't believe this. I was getting gas at the time, trying to fuel up my vehicle, just trying to get home. But Angie, she goes there, this whole family, and then we find out here, before you get into it, the whole family, that you pulled Stephen Piercy out of his family and broke up the band, broke up the rat.
I'm shocked he didn't die.
I'm shocked he didn't die. So you broke up the rat family. And if anybody knows the band Rat, they're very dysfunctional as well. Old Warren DeMartini and the boys. But Stephen Piercy, no wonder he was down in the dumps. He lost his whole family. They didn't tell you guys that that time. That's so terrible. Then, Angie, take it away where this went from here. So
we got a deal on these rats. I'll tell you that right now.
So they said they want to bring
$10 a pop.
$10 each. They said we want to bring the family back together. So once again, I'm traveling. I'm in Wisconsin. I'm in the wilds of Wisconsin. There's bears in Wisconsin. You get a hunting tag for bears, I found out. And people make bear jerky apparently up there. It's wild in Wisconsin. Shout out to Wisconsin people. But Angie decided to take the whole rat family home. So I haven't even had time to mourn Gus and Peanut. I've been on the road. And we got 4 new rats looking at me in the face when I got here. So now there's...
Got the whole band.
Got the whole band back together. So now we have Stephen Piercy, of course, staying. But we also have Robin Crosby joining the fun. Bobby Blotzer, you got to have the Blotzer. And then, of course, picking up the rear, Warren DeMartini. We got the whole band Rat back together. It's a wild time to get rats in a cage, like Young Smashing Pumpkins. But poor Angie here now, you have double the rat work to do. Double the rat work. Double the pee.
And you got double the food to buy.
Double the pee, double the poop, double the food, double the water. I'll never financially recover from this.
No.
I'll never financially recover from this. It's unbelievable.
The Tiger King at this point.
Oh my gosh. All these rats, and they're wild rats. Some have red eyes. Like they're fueled by Satan. They're fueled by Satan. I think it's Warren DeMartini and Bobby Blotzer, I think, are the 2 with the red eyes.
Stephen's the cutest, and then there's another one that's really cute.
Warren DeMartini, always the heartthrob of rat, as we do know, but he's very fluffy, like fluffy, like weird. Very wild.
And different than the other one.
I would like to get some video or some images of these rats, but they don't come out of their nest, their house, their hut, whatever it is. They're all locked in there, locked on inside in there. So it's a wild time for these rats.
There's one hammock and they all 4 go in there.
Oh my gosh, this is just rat-tastic here, but it was a wild week. I can't believe it. The ups and downs of this rat story. I can't believe last week we go from suicide to this week. 4 new rats we didn't even know a week ago. We got 4 new rats that we didn't even know.
The upside is they're old.
They're old.
Sleep a lot.
So they're 2 years old.
We'll only have them a couple years, maybe.
They live 2 to 4 years, so they're on borrowed time right now. One of these guys is going to kill himself this week. But yeah, then I can see it. Well, we only got 3 rats now. We got to go get another one. We're down to 2. I think we got to figure out
good odds now because we can just keep going until there's only one.
When we get down to one, we're gonna find a friend with a snake, and we're just gonna finish it off. Is what we're gonna finish it off with. But
maybe I have a snake.
I do. I'll show you later. But yeah, a wild week. So
God.
Wisconsin travel, rats coming and going, dying and entering the universe. It's just wild time. And Ace, Domino, and Lemmy don't know what to think about all this. They're just chilling and living life. They're living that corgi poo life is what they're doing. So Angie, a wild week. That's for sure. And we haven't even got to the question of the week yet.
God, my apps are
oh my gosh. Are you ready for the question of the week?
I guess.
All right, take it away.
All right. RJ Toybuzz 4119. Kyle, do you have any old camcorder videos of you opening figures during your childhood or young adult time frame that you would ever share?
I would love to share it. I would love to. I got nothing. My family hates me.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever told the story about it?
Oh, that's where it's going to go. It's going to that story.
When your parents got married and you said thanks
no.
that.
Get out of here. That's not that story. That's not the story I'm going for. I can save that for another day. Giggles over there. Old VHS tapes, always fun. Always a riot to look at young Kyle doing things.
It's
no,
cute.
Another
it's
day.
Cute.
Another day. No, stop. Okay. Another day. Another day. This is jibber jabber too long. We're not going down that road. But we were going to go down the road of answering the question of the week right here. And my parents did not like to film me very much when I was a kid. You know, it's a tale of different things with my sister. My younger sister, they got, you know, they've documented everything. I think there's a picture of every day of her life, I think. I'm pretty sure. Poor Kyle, it's like trying to find pictures of Wyatt Earp back in the day. It's like, did he exist as a kid? I don't know. So don't have very much. And I don't think we have any video of me opening stuff. I found a couple of pictures. I'll put those up. That was the best I got. The people, they say, give Kyle the toy and he'll get out of our hair, I think is what probably happened there. I think that's what happened. But I'd have to search through these DVDs and VHSs if there is anything. But it would be cool if I could find some VHSs of me opening up some old wrestlers or G.I. Joes back in the day. We could do an audio commentary track over the top of exactly what I was thinking because I remember. You show me that video, I'll remember everything about it for sure. But I do have a couple of photos. But, you know, I don't even have a photo of my first dog as a kid. Like, we never took a picture of my dog, Ebony. Shout out to Ebony. She was a real one. And I think we named her after the Stevie Wonder song. Ebony and Ivory with Paul McCartney. Had to have. Or she was black. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, she was a black lab, wasn't she?
Black lab. But poor Ebony dead. And that's a story for another. Don't get me started on that story. You'll never see me so mad and worked up. That is a story for another day. The story of Ebony the dog.
Cliffhangers.
Oh my gosh. I got stories for days. And you guys are going to hear every single one of them. I'm going to force you to listen to all my stories eventually. But
the next question of the week is, what did Kyle say in that video?
We're not going down that video right now. Another day. But nothing. I would be great to have that kind of video, but I would share it. But all I got is pictures that I know of. But Dad, you're probably watching this. Do you got any? I don't even know where they were.
There's got to be video. If Tammy was going to bust it out, that's when she would have busted it out. Birthdays, Christmas.
You would think. So maybe I got something. Maybe I don't. If we can find something, we could put a nice video package together. I'm sure. Except I don't know how to do that, but somebody would.
Truly memory.
There it is. That's the question of the week. We've talked too much. There's too much jibber jabber. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today. I've had
I need a pancake.
A pancake?
Talking about pancakes.
You talked about it last week?
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I still haven't got my pancake.
Where are you going to get a pancake? Are we going to IHOP tonight? Is that what we're doing? Are we going to IHOP? Are we going to Perkins? There's no Waffle House around here, but Waffle House only has waffles. You know, it's not Pancake House.
Decent IHOP is the one out west.
Yeah, you got to go to the next one. I don't know. Breakfast for dinner, maybe.
Ashes, cigarette ashes.
But you know what? I've been gone all week. I'd love nothing more than to get you a pancake.
Yay!
So if you need a pancake, only one, no syrup, no butter, just one pancake. That's what we'll get you. We'll figure that out. That's next on the assignment. A lot going on here today, but that is the question of the week. See, this is what I'm talking about.
We can tell them we have a little slumber party here.
Oh my gosh, it never ends around here. It's a wild place. We got a slumber party. There's like, how many girls are here?
There's 4 14-year-olds up there running around. I'm shocked that was the first bark. Honestly.
That was the first bark, but those dogs, you know, they're attack dogs too. That's the other thing. You guys might have your rats and stuff, but those 3 dogs, they're with me. They're on Team Kyle all day long. And twice on Sunday. So there it is. That's the question of the week. Moving on. Of course, if you want to be the question of the week, put it in the comments down below. And you too could be the question of the week. But now we got to get down to it, Angie. Let's get down to it. The weekly purchases. All right, time for question of the week. The old mailbag is here. You're The old mailbag. She's the old mailbag. But
sack of potatoes over here.
That's right. So Angie is here today to answer all of the burning questions, of course, from the viewers out there. And Angie, how have you been? I haven't seen you all week.
Good. It's been a slow week.
It's been a slow week. And I was traveling this week in Sioux City. You were holding the fort down. And now we're going to literally have to put the fort down because supposedly damaging winds, possible tornadoes here in the next hour or so. So we'll see what happens. It could be the last time anybody sees this collection or us. We'll see if we go down.
We don't already have the new roof on.
That's right. I'm going down with the ship is what I'm doing. But yeah, we are getting a new... We are getting a new roof, so that'll be very interesting here in the next couple of weeks as well. So more on that maybe, but I know everybody's dying to know, Angie, no rats died this week. No rats, no rat funerals after 2 weeks in a row of dead rat talk. No dead rats. Kinda.
Well, there was a rat funeral.
I guess kinda, yeah. There was a rat funeral. Hopefully you guys watched the toy hunt for this week video. Did a little funeral for 2 friends, and unfortunately...
I missed it.
Angie said, I'm too busy for this
No,
funeral.
I was sick.
She was sick for the funeral, and Emma said, I don't care. Just do it. I don't want anything to do it. But Elle and Izzy were there for the funeral. I, of course, digged the holes and buried the souls at the same time. But we did have a funeral for, what was their names again? Gus and Peanut. Gus and Peanut, their names. So we buried them in those boxes. We'll be able to visit them, all that kind of fun stuff. But the other 4 rats really coming out of their shell.
Really thriving.
Really thriving. They're enjoying all being together, and they're getting friendlier, except they always bite my hands. They always think my hands are
They're
food.
so blind. I think they're so blind.
They're blind rats, apparently. So we've heard of 3 blind mice, but now we got 4 blind rats. So we'll see how that goes. But no death, no shocking suicides, nothing like that this week. Just a funeral for a couple of rats. And we're moving on. So now we're down to the question of the week, and a lot of stuff going on this week, or a lot of stuff coming up this week, I should say, as we're diving into spring break. And of course, we're headed to, where is it? Cancun? Is that where we're going on Tuesday? No, we're not going anywhere. Angie's working. I actually have a few days off. I got some special projects to take care of and a few other things to do. The heating and cooling guy, of course, we get that checked twice a year. He's coming.
So glamorous.
So glamorous vacation. Got to do some yard work. Got to get ready for that. Got to spray for some bugs. Just the usual. So riveting spring break right here. But we'll be on the hunt too, so we'll see what happens. But Angie, I think it's time for the question of the week. What do you think?
Okay.
You got a long question of the week. You better break it into 2. So
every time I stare at this light and then I try to stare at the screen, I'm blurry.
It's blurry.
Blotchy.
Okay. Well, question of the week.
Oh my God, I'm seeing spots. At Toyman3000-Isaac, Kyle, question for next week for you. Since you do a lot of traveling, what is one of your craziest travel stories?
Oh my gosh. I could write a book on the stuff I've seen out there in retail over the years, just to let alone going to all these stores for so many years, hunting figures, but then actually working for like my day job, business life, traveling a million stores over my years. And I was in charge of Walmarts for a state on the road, 2004 or 2005. It doesn't matter, but saw so much crazy stuff over that time frame. 2 crazy stories that popped to mind immediately is there was one guy they caught shoplifting in the meat department, and I was back there selling to the meat manager or whatever. They took him in there. They had the police and everything. He was denying stealing, but it was... Have I told you this story? I don't know if I have. But this guy had a huge long trench coat going on, and they got him in there, and they went through, and he was opening up all of the meat, like out of the package, like raw hamburger, raw steaks, all that stuff, and he was throwing it in the pockets of his coat. So they pull him back in there, and they're just pulling out raw meat, unpackaged, like lint and dirt and gross stuff. I guess it cooks off. It cooks off, I guess, but... Ew. He was denying, I don't know how this stuff, the typical, I don't know how this got in here. But that was a wild story. And then another quick one, I couldn't believe that still is crazy. I was out in the middle of nowhere country Walmart. Walking in, I'm like, oh, this is a bad scene. There's an ambulance up front, so you know there's nothing good going on. Walk in there, and there's this old farmer, overalls and all. Tell me you're a farmer without telling me you're a farmer. He's wearing his overalls at Walmart. And they're working on the guy, because he's like dying or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so I stepped over the body very nicely. I stepped over it. I stepped over him. Very nicely. I didn't make a scene. Wow. I didn't linger. I just gradually stepped. I did clip his face though with my butt. No, I didn't. But I walked around it, of course. Anything. But then so I do my thing in the grocery area there. But as I'm coming out, they're cleaning up that guy's dead body. I don't know what they're doing. I can't remember. But on the other entrance of the Walmart, there's another farmer down having a heart attack, and they're working on him. So just like what was going on at this Walmart, I said I got to get out of this town. But I could go on crazy stories forever. Shoplifters like fights and things like that. store managers like thinking I'm like Sam Walton apparently, and I'm going to help them with the mafia and things. Just wild stories I could tell. So those are two that stick out in front of me. I mean, I got retail stories from when I was a kid working in a grocery store, some crazy things. And we'll tell all those stories one day. One day, Kyle's grocery stories. But I could go on. I could go on for a million days about some of these stories and things I've seen and fights crazy. And it's wild. It's
crazy
wild.
How desensitized you get to like a code blue getting called in a grocery store.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, another one.
I remember a director not too long ago. He had one, like some old lady, like 90-year-old lady. They're trying to revive her. She's dying in the grocery store. And that's just where I want to die. That's probably where I'll die.
Why do everybody come to die at the grocery store?
And I just told the director, I said, man, I don't miss those days. I don't miss those days. Enjoy. I don't work here. So crazy stories. So that's just a couple right there. But there's wilder ones I can tell from there on. But it looks like there's part 2, Angie.
I was going to ask you, have you ever told this story? The guy that died in the grocery store.
You died in the grocery store?
No, the guy didn't. There's somebody die in a grocery store and they found the body later.
I'm sure didn't somebody's died in a grocery
store.
Fall
into something or do something?
Oh, that wasn't me. But yeah, there was, I think it was Council Bluffs or Omaha. There was a guy, and it's kind of similar to my store I worked at. Long story. This doesn't even revolve me, but now everybody wants to know what the story is. There was some kid, and apparently he went up on kind of the roof. There was like a balcony type thing, kind of like the break room, taking a break or whatever. And anyways, he must have slipped in between the walls, fell down through there, and they found his dead body like 16 years later. That was like a year or 2 years ago. They found his body. The kid's been missing forever. They thought he ran away. Who knows what happened? They
How did they not smell that?
They go to demolish the building, and there's that dead skeleton in the walls right there. But yeah, knowing that store, because I have been in that store and I have called on that store in a former life, I guess we'll call it. I could see how it happens because it was the freezer wall. Like that's pretty thick wall with the freezer and everything else. And be a terrible way to die. You're just in there and you're just stuck in between the wall and you're scratching.
It's like the guy that was like hiking and fell straight down like this.
What do you do? That's the last place I want to die.
Okay.
But yeah, that wasn't me. I love that needed to be whispered. And I'm sure it all came up on the mic.
I always ruin your vibe of like,
and I'm sure
collection of stories.
I'm sure it came up on the mic. So like they're hearing the whisper. Like, yeah, just whispering right into the microphone. Okay,
we're turning into an ASMR channel.
Yeah, you would like that. You love your ASMR. Oh my gosh! All right, Angie's question. Oh
my gosh. We know you're cool with Kyle's collection now, but has that always been the case? When you started dating, early relationship, was it something you had to get accustomed to, or was it easy to fall into having a collector's mindset husband?
Well, I can tell you when we met, it's like a lifetime ago. That was 21 years ago, soon to be 22 years ago when we met. This is poor Kyle, who just graduated college roughly around that time frame. I was planning on going to live with dear old dad. I was like, oh yeah, me and my dad, we're getting the band back together. We're going to eat New York Strip every single night. We're going to hang out. And my dad just said, hold the phone, watch out. Guess what? I got you a studio apartment. I already got the lease signed for you. And I paid the first month. After that, Kyle, you're resilient. You'll figure it out. That's what he said. You'll figure it out. And it was a small little apartment there. But so I didn't have a lot of stuff. So I've talked about this. It's been a long time since I've talked about this. This is turning into my question of the week, what this is turning into. But I have never told the story of the Great Purge, my original action figure purge. A lot of people always ask me, Kyle, why do you collect current stuff? Why don't you get those vintage G.I. Joe stuff like that? Man, I had all of that. As a kid. And when I went off to college, I sold it all. I sold it all on eBay, liquidated it all. I kept just a couple of things. Barely anything. I got rid of all my action figures. I was moving out of action figures. It was done. It was in my rear view. Titantrons and R3 figures were running wild. And I said, this is hot garbage. I don't want any part of this. Toy Biz, WCW, don't want any part of it. Don't like any of those figures. Don't have them in my collection now. Had to get rid of all of them. I was out of action figure collecting. I would pick up the odd warrior type item here. I'd pick up like Eddie, NECA, Iron Maidens. I'd pick up stuff like that. But guess what? You're a college kid. I was working 2 jobs, going full time through college. I didn't have any money. I had no money. And I buy a few ancillary things. I collected CDs, and you could talk about that in a little bit. But I wasn't collecting action figures until, and I've told this before, as the Classic Superstars, the 25th anniversary of G.I. Joe got me back into the madness you see right now. So Angie, you can talk about when you met me, I was collecting guitars and CDs.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I actually don't have any recollection of you the collection never was like on my mind. Now it's such a big part of our lives, I feel like, but it only bothers me if it gets unmanageable.
Yeah,
and it gets cluttery.
Yeah, that's what the basement's right now. So nobody come over. It's cluttery right now. And that was one of my New Year's resolutions in collecting. And I've been doing better, but I got a day of work to put some things around because it's so easy to do the review and stick it off to the side here where I need to put it where it goes, actually. And sometimes you do this video and, oh my gosh, got to go eat dinner, got to take the kids somewhere, or I got to go travel, whatever it may be. So that's one thing. But yeah, I mean, we had a 1-bedroom apartment and then we went to a 2-bedroom apartment and then we went to a starter house. Is that what you call it? Your first house, I guess, which I mean, I don't know, 2 or 3 bedrooms, whatever. I had an office there.
I don't even really remember the collection there.
Yeah, I mean, I had CDs. Even going back, I had like the House of 1,000 Corpses room. I had all the House of 1,000 Corpses stuff. It was really cool, and chicks love that for sure. But I had that. And I had all my CDs. I mean, at one time, there's a video on my YouTube channel in the infancy where I was selling my CD collection. I told that story just not too long ago, but it had a whole room of CDs and stuff. So. And then it progressed. Obviously, I started collecting classic superstars. I mean, at our first house is where the classic superstars and the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe collection started. And that was basically it. And then it snowballed from there and it snowballed from there. And now you see what it is. But it's not like it was always there because I did do a great purge back in the day where I sold 90% of my collection, 99% of my collection. So, yeah.
Really, since we moved into this house, you used to just have the kind of in that hidden room.
Yeah, it's just like now you got all kinds more room. Now it's time to move to a bigger house. I think it's time. Let's do it. No, let's buy another house. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna buy another house. So if anybody in my area wants to go in on a house and maybe we'll use it for other things and stuff, it could be really the party house is what it's gonna be. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, who knows what the future may hold? I don't know. But yeah,
I've never cared.
Never cared. Her favorite collector piece is me. Yeah. Exactly right. So that's it. That's question of the week. Angie, anything else for you? Nothing. We're out. We're out. Now you know what that means. Time to stay tuned for round 1 of the weekly purchases. All right, we're back with question of the week. My wife Angie's here. Angie, say hello.
The mailbag is here.
The mailbag, a whole bag of mail. 2 fun bags of mail today here. You got your Western.
You got my fun bags out today.
She does. Got her Western shirt out. She's ready to go. Her Western top, I guess we'll call it. Sure, whatever. But Angie's here for the question of the week this week. And of course, a busy week this week. Angie's spring break this week. Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And we had all kinds of fun. I think I talked about it. Maybe we had to pay the heating and cooling and plumbing people like $350.
Money.
That was fun. They had to fix the humidifier in the house and some pipe that was starting to get corroded, and they had to replace it. It was
new
all
thermostat.
Whole fiasco. They gave us a new thermostat because it was under warranty or something like that. But I had to leave, so I was dealing with it. Shout out to good old Isaiah. Was his name Isaiah? I saw it on the text message. he was helping out doing all this stuff, and then I had to tag you in because you got back home. I said, I got to go to this AEW show. I got to go drive 3+ hours in a blizzard and risk my life to be front row for Jon Moxley versus Cope and get to see some shenanigans go down. But it was a good show. We talked about it already here on the channel, but I tempted fate on that one. But unfortunately, while I was at the wrestling match, Angie, you were having your own wrestling match at the time, trying to corral some animals, I think, that escaped, thanks to our friend Isaiah. Isaiah. So basically what happened there, I heard the dogs got out, but you did save the day. There was no lost ace like it was like 6 months ago when he was lost for hours, of course.
It was just super windy, and I had the gate barricaded, but he had to move it to get to our outside air conditioning unit. So I'm sure you can guess what happened. And
next thing you knew, that wind blew that fence gate way open because it was like 60-mile-per-hour winds. It was dangerous winds. And I'm glad we haven't got that new roof yet. Let's get all these storms past us before we get that new roof put on there. But the dogs got away, and luckily you found them all. How long did it take you to get them all?
Less than 5 minutes.
That's
lucky. Very lucky.
That's a good day at the office.
I think the weather was on my side, that bad weather.
Yeah, they didn't want to go too far from home. But it's a wild how when they escape, it's like they all tell each other, well, it was nice knowing you, Domino. Lemmy, Ace. We had good times for about 7 years, but we're going in different directions. We're running away different ways. I don't understand why they don't hunt as a pack and travel as a pack. They're like, hey, it was nice, brother. See ya. They just hate each other, apparently, there. So you had to deal with those shenanigans. Of course, I had to do some work, way much more work than I wanted to on spring break this week. We did go on a little road trip. We went to Dave's Hot Chicken.
Yeah.
Dave's Hot Chicken. What did you think of Dave's? Now, Do you like it more than Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's if you had to put them in order?
No, it's good. It's better quality chicken than probably anything else. But little goes a long way. It's very heavily seasoned. It's kind of like got that sweet and spicy.
And you got the mild, I think is what you got.
Yeah, I don't think I could have done even medium.
Yeah, I got I can take hot stuff, and the hot's about as hot as I want to go. Where I like hot with some flavor. I don't like hot for the sake of hot, and I like to go with a hot there. And I got a medium too. But always good. Dave's Hot Chicken, strongly recommended. Hopefully they get one in our neck of the woods one of these days. Mm-hmm. But if you had to list in order, Dave's Hot Chicken, Raising Cane's, Chick-fil-A, we'll throw KFC and Popeyes in the mix. How would you do it?
Much.
Your top 5. Start at number 5. Well, work your way to number 1.
Oh gosh.
So probably Popeyes, KFC is gonna be at 5. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which one? I could rattle mine off.
Popeyes. I guess Popeyes and KFC. Then Raising Cane's, then Chick-fil-A, then Dave's Hot Chicken.
Dave's is your favorite of the 3?
Well, the quality of the chicken.
Oh, but if you had to go, if they were all available to you.
Chick-fil-A is my number 1 eaten.
So there you go. So Chick-fil-A is number 1. Then.
Get the grilled nuggets with the kale crunch salad, and I drizzle a little buffalo on there.
And next thing you know, you spent $25 on one meal at Chick-fil-A is what happens there. $11. Oh my gosh. For me, it's very easy to list these ones. I'm going Dave's Hot Chicken number 1 because I like some spice. It's the variety of life is spice, of course they say. So I'm going Dave's Hot Chicken number 1. I like the sauce too. I'm not a huge sauce guy on a lot of these things, but the Dave sauce.
What is it?
It's called Dave sauce. Dave makes it. He squirts it out in the back, I think is what he does. It's right from the funnel of Dave. But I'm going, let's see. 5 is going to be Popeyes for me. Popeyes, the problem with Popeyes is every time you go there, they're out of something. Oh, we're out of the biscuits. Oh, we're out of white meat. We're out of dark meat. Too. It's always a disaster, no matter what Popeyes you go to in the country. But I do enjoy Popeyes. I like it better than some. But Popeyes number 5 for me. Number 4, I'm going Chick-fil-A. This family over here has burned me out on Chick-fil-A. We go there all the time. I'm so sick of it. I could never eat there again. And once upon a time in the city that smells of piss, of course, Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, Cincinnati. It's just what it is. I'll never forget it. You go there. There's people peeing in the skywalks. It was just a tough time for little 9-year-old Kyle. I never forgot it. Never been back. Maybe one day the people of Cincinnati will let me back in. I don't know if they will, though. But I'll never forget my dad and I went there to the starting lineup convention, and we tried this Chick-fil-A thing. We'd never heard of it before. Obsessed. We didn't have those in our area, and it was I think it was in a mall right by our hotel. I can't remember why, but it was really easy to get to. And we were there for 2 or 3 days, and we ate it every single day for lunch and dinner. For those days, we were just over the moon on Chick-fil-A. That's all we went to. It was convenient. It was fairly cheap. It was easy. Little kid liking nuggets, of course. So I love Chick-fil-A, and you guys have squandered my Chick-fil-A love. I'm over it. But I'll put them at number 4. I almost might flip-flop 5 and 4, but I'm going to put them number 4 for this exercise we're doing right here. And then number 3, I'm going to go Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's pretty good, but once again, these kids, they just open one around the corner. We can literally walk to it from our house, and the kids, and they go there all the time. I'm over it. So I'm putting Raising Cane's number 3. KFC, the Colonel, going at number 2. Dave's Hot Chicken, number 1. But the Colonel, he's been there since I was a little boy. When I was in college, he had the $5 student buffet that just kept me fed for so long. I'm just fueled on KFC. The Colonel's okay with me. The greatest Colonel of all time. And apparently thousands of statues, as the poster does say. 4,000. 4,000 statues in Japan. David C. Anderson, I said, David, you're over in Japan right now. You owe it yourself to go to... Yeah, he ate McDonald's. But he owes himself to go to KFC over there is what he needs to do. And I don't think he's going to do it. He said he hadn't seen one yet.
That's crazy.
He probably wasn't looking hard enough.
Has he seen a statue?
No, and I just don't think he's looking. I don't think he's looking like he needs to. He needs to say, we're skirt tailing this trip. I know we're going to do the sightseeing stuff, but we're going on a mission to find some KFC restaurants and statues. That's what he would have done if I was there. Said, hey, we're skirt tailing all this other stuff. But long story short, the chicken story short right there. But
long chicken story.
I get worked up. I get passionate about my chicken, of course. So Dave's Hot Chicken, come my way. They need to come farther, I guess, west is where they need to come. But one of these days, I get them on my work travels, though. So at least I still get to have it from time to time.
You'll burn yourself out on it.
And I will. And then I'll hate it. And then we'll never go there. But I have a feeling the kids in you don't like that spice. So you won't. But you can get the plain ones if you want to. Who wants that, though? Spice. You like to keep it. I know you like to keep it spicy, just not in your food. That's for sure. But That's it. That's it on my notes. That's all I got. AEW, Blizzard, some chicken.
The question is written in his chicken scratch this week, and I'm
gonna
attempt to.
I didn't write it. Todd McFarlane wrote it with his toes. In all honesty, he put it there. It was like this between his toes, and he was writing it there. I said, I bet you can do it. And I dared him, and let's see if Angie can read Todd's toe handwriting. Angie, time for the question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below. But Angie. It's a specific Angie question this week. Go for it.
Is this the @ symbol right here?
Yep, that is.
At SGD _ toys down under. Question for Angie. Is there anything in Kyle's collection where you question why he likes it?
Oh, she questions a lot. No,
I think we're way past that.
The Moody Blues said question the answer. But you question anything?
No, not really.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that would be like something you would question. I mean, remember when I used to have that full-size Captain Spaulding inside the house? You never really questioned that. No. That was in my office, though.
That was weird, though.
That was kind of weird. It
scared people.
Yeah, people would walk in and they'd see it in the dark. You'd see that clown. Now he's in the garage, and he's
dusty.
He is dusty. It took a long time. People get scared. Like, what the heck is that? They pull in the garage, and oh my gosh, there's a full-size clown in here. But Captain Spaulding, of course, looking good there. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything else to question. I mean, what would you question? What? There's nothing to question.
Other than your sanity.
Yeah, I've been questioning that for a long time, but nothing. So nothing. Mm-mm. Is there a favorite piece in the collection besides myself? Of course, probably your favorite piece in the collection, I'm sure. But is there a favorite?
The He-Man room is my favorite. You know that.
You like He-Man. You like your big men. He-Man.
Well, I just like the color. Like, there's a lot of bright colors, contrast. It's like
there's a lot of good colors to that. There's a lot going on, so it's vibrant. So it's not about the figures. It's about the whole presentation.
Yes.
So there it is. Well,
I like the turtles. Oh. Sometimes when I come down in the dark, they're glowing in the dark. Yeah,
that's that glow-in-the-dark shelf. Just wait till we get that glow-in-the-dark closet done. When we get all the glow-in-the-dark figures in there, we get the black light, we charge them up real bright, then we turn off all the lights and shut the door, and we just hang out in there. And it's like as blind as the sun, and we probably could go tanning. It could be a makeshift tanning bed.
What's
probably.
that, when you go in the closet, 8 seconds in the closet? What is it?
Oh, I don't know. You want to go?
When you when you did that as a teenager, what is that? Where you went in the closet with a girl?
I did?
No, just in general, people do.
I went in the closet with all the guys. We just go in there. Guys, what are we going to do in this closet? No.
10 seconds in heaven. What is it?
7 minutes? 7 minutes?
It's 7 minutes. That's a lot of minutes.
It's a lot of minutes. I only need one. I don't know. But there it is. That's the question of the week. Angie, anything else exciting for you this week?
No, but it's been nice that I haven't been rushing like a mad woman. Working.
Oh, yeah, kids are in school. That was a long.
Chilling.
That was a long one. It was just, where's it going? Well, Angie, now we got to go pick up my contacts. But before we do that, I have to get some new contacts. Before we do that, though, we got to get down to the weekly purchases. Mm-hmm. All right, we're back. Angie's here. It's time for the question of the week. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angie. And we're back here for the question of the week. If you want to be the question of the week, leave your question in the comments down below, and Angie will answer it next week. And Angie, pretty fun week this week, I guess. We'll say that. A special birthday around these parts this week. Little Ace.
Our baby.
Little Ace, our baby. The corgi poo with a heart of gold and the senses of a rodent, maybe a dumb rodent sometimes. Not the brightest bulb is old Ace, but he is a nice little guy, and it is his 3rd birthday this week here. So shout out to our boy Ace. 3 years old. Where would life be without him? Probably simpler.
Way simpler.
Way simpler. But
he's sitting on our feet right now.
Yeah, he's always sitting on the feet, and there's tons of room under there, but he's always got to be right on your feet. He's touching both of us at the same time. So he wanted to be here. You're here in spirit, I guess. He's chewing on a bone. Mm-hmm. He's a bone smuggler, much like yourself.
He's a tripping hazard.
Yeah, he is. He is. But happy birthday to Ace. And then next week, I'm on the road to Kansas City. Angie, new roof on Tuesday. Are we ready for this? Years of storm damage finally got the insurance adjuster to come and finally give us a new roof. And so that's nice. I don't have to pay big money for a new roof. We just have to pay our deductible or whatever. Mm-hmm. And off to that new roof game. So it's going to be exciting.
And of course, you're leaving.
And I'm leaving. So dear old dad, my dad, of course, lives around the corner. I said, Dad, you have some familiarity with roofs and making sure things go right and stuff. He's had roofs replaced. He worked in insurance for years. So he's going to come over that night and give it a once over just in case. Just in case they miss anything. But when I come home, it'll be a brand new roof. It'll be an amazing time. So just amazing everyday homeowner life, I guess, is what we're talking about here today. And Angie's...
We're going broke. I'm shifting the table.
Shifting the table around. So I hate to
Good
interrupt.
thing I'm not installing the roof.
Hate to interrupt you. I mean, and all that, but we got a new roof going. But Angie, it's time for the question of the week. Are you ready? It looks like War and Peace over there. You got your reading glasses on?
Goodness. No.
My
readers.
Your readers? Angie's got pilot vision. I don't.
All right, AJM. Hi, Kyle. First of all, you were rocking that Kelly Kapowski shirt.
Oh, and now, funny thing about that. Remember that? The other day, I gave you a hard time about that Kelly Kapowski. I had it hanging over the bathtub because I was going to wear it. And what did you do to that Kelly Kapowski shirt?
I used it as a mat to step out of the shower.
Just disrespecting old Kelly Kapowski. You know what? I just can't believe
she was
that.
inside out, though. So if I would have known it was her, I might not have.
I turned her inside out. And that's what I did. That's for sure. But Kelly Kapowski, I come in, I said, what is going on here? And she was using it to stand out of the shower. She was toweling off. It was catching all the water. And I was like, oh my gosh, poor Kelly Kapowski. But as you were.
Now for the question of the week. I've noticed that some companies have increased the price of some of their toys, perhaps because of those tariffs everyone talks about. Do you think that if all companies start raising their prices, it will destroy the toy collecting world? Or will we simply have to decrease the number of toys we buy? You'll just have to make more money.
You got to make more money. That's exactly right. And the tariffs thing, it's a weird thing. And I am by no means Mr. Tariff. I just remember what I learned in high school and college about them. But tariffs are as old as time. We've had tariffs forever from all these countries. They've always been going on. They've been going back and forth. And it is what it is. Just a little bit more in the news these days, for sure, with some of the raising tariffs. But obviously, there's going to be some pain for a while. You just, I guess, if you're in America, you just got to believe enough in America to that it'll all work itself out, I guess, is what you're going to have to hope for. I don't know what else. You can't hope for it to go south because it's going to be real bad for us. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. I just don't like some of the stuff that's going on. Talked about it in the toy news video yesterday a little bit. I can see some companies and some of these toy lines using the tariffs as an excuse because China is the tariff that everybody seems to talk about, but there's tariffs all over the place. And a lot of stuff, as Angie, I don't know if you know this or not, but for the last 6 months or so, I've been part of the Vietnam War with Mattel. God. Yes, it's true. Just like your dad served proudly in Vietnam, I'm carrying on that tradition over here. Vietnam, the war with Mattel over there and their factory issues. So I've been dealing with that. Vietnam has tariffs, of course. So does China, but China is a lot more as far as I know and understand. And Mattel hasn't raised prices or anything like that. But if they do, some of these companies, a lot of it's going over to Vietnam and other India for manufacturing. It's going to be real dirty if some of these toy companies say, oh, it's the tariffs. Well, your tariffs from Vietnam aren't quite China, so you can't really say that. Not throwing Big Bad Toy Store under the bus, but we saw this week they raised all the prices on all figures across the board. Hasbro up $5, everything. Not sure how that's going to work long term. We got friends of the channel like jaystoysandgames.com that have not done that. You'll be able to get better deals, better savings over there. So cheap plug for them, just calling the truth as the truth on stuff like that. But we'll see what ends up happening with some of these price points. Todd McFarlane from the couch over there, straight from WonderCon, he announced he's going to take some price increases. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with it. It's just going to have to see how it settles out over the next 6 months or so. But it does say, do you think if all companies start raising their prices, it will destroy the toy collecting world? Obviously, it won't destroy the toy collecting world. Maybe less toys will be bought and sold, possibly. Maybe less people will be buying. Maybe people won't buy as much. I guess you just got to see and wait it out. But it won't kill it. There's been all kinds of things like this over many years. Of course, even during COVID, there was all the price increases. And that was the heyday of action figure collecting in a lot of our lifetimes, for sure. So I'm getting long-winded here, Angie, but and she's loving it.
Me.
Angie's taking notes. She's taking detailed notes in her head right there. But we'll destroy the collecting world, or we simply have to decrease the number of toys we buy. Well, that comes up to your own finances if you need to decrease, I guess. It just depends where you're at, where you're sitting, what you're dealing with, what you want to collect, and all that. As we always say, a motto of the channel here, Angie, we got to vote with our wallet, and that's what you're going to have to do about all of this. I'm holding out hope it all works itself out a little bit, and who knows, maybe in the back end it could come out we get our figures cheaper in the future. I try to look on the bright side of life most of the times, but just like you guys out there and Angie right here, I don't want to spend any more money on toys than I am right now. I'd like to go the other way, if at all possible. But if the tariffs do go through and all this does come to fruition and it doesn't settle down soon, I think decisions are going to have to be made. I've talked about it already. I've had to dial back some Mondo stuff, just too expensive, dial back some other toy lines, had to get rid of some toy lines just because you can only get so much stuff. You have to dial it back. And the tariffs, if they do start hitting hot and heavy in the next couple of months, probably going to have to do that with some other stuff. So fingers crossed it works out for the best for the toy collectors, because that's all we care about at the end of the day is the toy collector. Everything else is ancillary, of course.
I'll have to cut off my Starbucks.
That's the great idea. I think we cut off Starbucks and the Chick-fil-A, the Hyper, the Raising Cane's, the Chipotles of the world. You stop going to those and it'll all even out. It'll be perfect. I think it's Starbucks, and yeah, it's a great deal. I agree. We should shake on it is what we should do. But there it is. That's the question of the week. Angie, any thoughts on that? No.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to us all. That's what Angie says there. So there it is, Angie, another question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, once again, stick it in the comments.
Stick it in the comments. You've never said it like that before.
Stick it in Angie's comments.
Stick it in there.
Just like that. So there it is. That's the question of the week. Up next, it's time for the weekly purchases.